If you've ever had any one of these desires, I want you to lock in and join the great lock-in with me for the next 180 days. It was originally 120 starting from September 1st until all the way until December 31st. But now we're talking about today, September 30th, all the way until March 28th. Because we're gonna go over this 4-phase process where you're gonna change your life, become who you desire, and ultimately become that future version of yourself that you've been waiting to lean into. Let's get into it. I have some notes and I'm excited to lock into this with you guys because honestly, it has been one of a kind of a year for me, and I'm sure it has especially been for you too. In the first phase, I want y'all to think about this as the shedding. We're gonna say that it's September 30th until November 4th, which is 34 days from today. This is the time period where this is the purge. We're thinking about what we want to let go of. We're thinking about old identities, habits, stories that no longer fit. Because honestly, the key period here is to think about the fact that we have 34 days until daylight savings, okay? Daylight savings is right around the corner and we just entered the first day of fall, so there's no other time period. And especially because there's almost exactly 90 days in the year left, being that Wednesday is October 1st, so we have 90 days left in the year. This is a great time to restart. But why we're doing this in certain phases is because this phase is the most intrinsic to just think about planning, preparation, and overall what needs to happen. Again, in practice for the shedding time period from September 29th until November 2nd is cleaning out your routines, cutting out the noise, getting honest with what you're carrying that isn't you anymore. And especially on the brand side, because I'm a branding coach, we gotta audit what feels forced, what offers messaging, even visuals that just don't even represent you anymore, because we're creating content and we're creating content with intentionality and we're becoming our future version. So all of that revolves around building the brand that we want. And so in order to become the version that we want, we need to also build a brand, but we will be doing that intrinsically. Phase 2, think about this from that daylight savings period of November 2nd, November 3rd, all the way up until the winter solstice. So this is 49 days from November 3rd until December 21st. The reality here is that winter usually slows us down because we get cozy, we want to be with our families, and honestly, seasonal depression comes up and kicks our ass sometimes. I'm not gonna lie to you. But instead of resisting, we're going to use stillness to listen. This phase is about clarity, vision, and truth, and really being honest with what we want for ourselves. And let me say something that I hope gets into your brain here. Stillness does not mean laziness, okay? Stillness does not mean laziness. It means receiving. It means that we're being present and we're meditating, visualizing, understanding what exactly we want from our goals and the bigger journeys that we have in our life. If we can do that, then we're gonna meet our future self just fine. This practice here, I personally listen to these 3, Joe Dispenza, Neville Goddard, and Bob Proctor for like really good mindsets. But then I also have these other recommendation podcasts just to listen to right now, because honestly, the Diary of a CEO, the Date Yourself podcast, I think I'm getting that name right, the Lewis Howes podcast, like there's so many things, and I need to, obviously as I'm saying this, I need to add more women in here. I live for Amanda Frances, so she's another one that I really listen to. Overall here, these people have changed my mindset with what it means to be abundant, with what it means to be prosperous. And so in this stillness phase, we take that preparation and the shedding to then apply it to the stillness of saying, okay, we've thought about what we wanted. We know where we're kind of going. So how can we really take this 49 days and lock in even further with leaning into meditation, journaling, visualizing, being the person you want to be, going to the gym, eating better. Meet your future self in mind's eye and ask what they need from you right now. Because in order to be your future self, you have to ask your future self. It's hand in hand, okay? So this is also where we look at building your brand's vision, values, and the feeling you want to carry throughout this entire process. So the goal here is to find your compass, know that you are becoming and know what you are becoming, who you are becoming, and what you are building for. Phase 3, think about this kind of like embracing that start of the winter solstice all the way until March 8th, which is daylight savings again. So this is the longest time period. This is 77 days. This is the time to grind. This is sacred. This is embodiment. This means living the brand and the self that you've envisioned. And it's the longest phase because change takes time. Okay, let me say that one more time so you hear that. Change takes time. When you look at this in actuality, this means looking at your fitness, your nutrition consistency. How is it going? How much are you posting content? Can you prove to yourself that you can hold that discipline? Because personally, my goal by next year, October 31st, 2026, I will be a millionaire. So that's my birthday. By the time I turn 28, I want to be a millionaire. Thinking about that is reflecting on the fact that I may not be the person that I want to be in order to get there right now. And so that means reflecting. That means thinking about what it is that really embodies my future self. Because for me, that meant I really shouldn't watch TV during the week. I listen to podcasts, music is good, all of the things that really fuel me, but I should not be doing the things that make me distracted. And the things that don't let me get to that point. Because today, for example, I film Sundays or Mondays and post on Tuesdays. And that's just the reality of all content. I almost didn't do this today. And the fact is that I heard something that maybe you guys can take too, is that I'd rather suck than skip.
It's okay to suck, but it's not okay to skip. Because when you start skipping, it's really easy to fall off.
But he literally said it is better to suck than to skip. And I took that to apply it because he was talking about the gym. He's like, I'd rather go for 5 minutes and be on the elliptical or on a treadmill or on the Stairmaster for 5 minutes than not at all. And I'm taking that and applying it to my life in its entirety. Honestly, if we don't look at our life like that and with that view, there's nothing that we're really looking forward to. At the end of the day, when it comes to discipline and consistency, it's hard. It's hard changing habits. And why I'm talking more on this phase than others is because this is the time that I really want you guys to reflect. It is not easy to ask for the future version of yourself, and it takes a lot of work. And I'm personally struggling with this with you. So we're doing it together. We really are. If I can help you with that journey, it doesn't have to be hard, but it has to be consistent. The same way that someone told you years ago, because I was told this, it's a lot easier to get A's than to fail because all you had to do was put in the work instead of procrastinate. And this is the same thing here. It's a lot easier to be better, be consistent, do the thing than it is to fail, so that you have this long list of things that is never going to work. At the end of the day, you have this long list and it takes forever to get it all done. I'm right there with you in the fact that I want to change that. This embodiment, it is called the embodiment for a reason. We are going to turn discipline into identity. Okay, I'm saying that one more time. We are going to turn discipline into identity here, okay? So by the end of this phase, it is no longer something you are quote unquote trying to do. It is who you are. There's a lot of pieces in this. And so we're going to go through this over the course of the time, the embodiment of it all and how we can do it together. The final piece is phase 4, which is the rising. This aligns with daylight savings on March 8th into spring equinox. Spring equinox is technically March 21st, but I want to do this until March 28th because that in total is 180 days. I think it's 179 days starting, on Tuesday, but it's 179, it's 180 days from today, okay? So point being is that if we're trying to become someone different, then we need that whole 180 shift. We cannot live in the point where we're holding ourselves back from previous mindsets, previous relationships, previous stuff that just doesn't need to be there anymore. If you need to forgive a person, you need to give yourself closure. If you need to do all of those things, I ask you to do that before this phase because there's a lot to go through this phase. Think about the rising as the rebirth. This is where the light comes back. Spring arrives. This is a season to step into visibility. So we should have established gym goals, all of the other things and whatnot to really think about what we're building. This is where you also think about the brand. Is it launchable, sellable, collectible? Is it speaking louder? Are people wanting to be a part of the community? That's what we should have embodied by the rising point because this is where you share your proof, you rally your people, and the goal here is to be undeniable because you rise not just as someone who built a brand, but as someone who became the brand. In reflection of this, and it's in everything, 180 days of becoming something is not just about building a business or anything like that. It is about building the body, the mind, the spirit, that can carry it. If you give each season what it asks of you, you'll step into spring as the future self that you have been waiting for. We're gonna do this. And I think that if you can take that and really look at these next 180 days as a way to ultimately change your life, because if we're not ending the year like we did last year, and we're not saying I'm saving it until January, then that means we have to change right now. From today, this is the homework piece of it. We're going to, from phase 1, this is where you're going to set goals, weight loss goals, overall fitness goals, mindset goals, business goals, brand goals, personal goals. My goals, I want to lose 80 pounds by April. So I got some work to do. I want to grow my business and scale people to help them build brands. But I mean, also that involves me building a personal brand more intrinsically. And I want to be more connected to source, meaning God, the universe, whatever it is that you believe in. I want to be more connected. So I'm intentionally waking up earlier just to have those moments with it because I think that's what I need. I'm also reading more, trying to learn more, researching more, because I heard this thing on TikTok, this person who said, manifestation will not happen without action. And that's so true because we have to embody what we want to become in order to get there. And so that means taking the action, doing the thing, being accountable, holding ourselves accountable, all of the things that we would need recognition for. Truly, that's how it's going to feel. I want to acknowledge the fact that it's going to be hard, it's going to be challenging, it's going to be all of the things, but I think that we can do it. I do. I think that we can do it. I'll share my list and it'll be right here. These are all the things that I'm focusing on right now, and I'm very excited for you guys to do this with me because we're not going to end this year like we did last year because there's no more half-finished goals or I'll start in January. This is that 180-day countdown broken up in 4 phases because your mind, your body, your brand, and your future self will finally all be aligned, and I cannot wait to see it through. Follow along, subscribe to the channel. I will also be talking about this on my TikTok and my Instagram because this is the overall becoming, and that is a 180-day journey. Let me know in the comments where you're at in this journey, and I honestly cannot wait to see more, but I'm very excited to get this journey going. I will see you guys in the next video for part 2 of the becoming.